right, thanks, Dana. Valentine's, I don't know if you guys have heard, just around the corner. You check a schedule right quick, you check your calendar, and you see that, and just in time, we have Dr. Darren Moore. He's got the letters PhD next to his name, which means we need to shut up and we need to listen to him talk. Dr. Moore, happy to have you with us this morning. All right, so in your line of work, which is obviously, I haven't mentioned that yet, you are a licensed marriage and family therapist. So I would imagine this time of year, a lot of people who know your profession ask you, what in the world do I do? So in your line of work, how is February? How is the lead up to Valentine's specifically in your world?
You know, it's really interesting because first we have that New Year's, and so people say, I want a new relationship, or I want to change something in my relationship going into the new year. And so once we start to approach February, then it's like, oh, they start to feel that pressure. You know, people start to see things on Instagram, social media, Facebook, and people are preparing for Valentine's Day. And so if you're single, then it's like, what do you do? How do you celebrate Valentine's Day when all of your friends are going out with their significant others?
Tell me about, you mentioned social media. In your line of work, how has the emergence of that entire new field, that new world, so to speak, evolved the way that human interaction occurs and the way that observation changes expectations maybe for yourself and your relationship?
Sure. I think we live in this world where we often compare ourselves to other people. And so with the emergence of social media, what happens is we then start to think about, oh, well, this is what someone else's relationship looks like on social media. So we should have that relationship. We should create that and make sure that people think that way about ourselves.
I obviously no relationship is perfect. Sure. I think pretty much anyone, licensed or not, would agree with that. When it comes to the world of therapy, though, whether it be individual, whether it be couples counseling and therapy, there's always been sort of a stigma. Therapy is sort of a last resort, although if you read any kind of literature on it, it shouldn't be a last resort.
Sure.
What would you say to encourage people that may be dealing with some issues in their marriage or their relationship to seek therapy as a means to fix?
Sure. I think it's just like any other issue. If you have a problem with your car, you take it to a mechanic. You have an issue with your appendix, you go to a doctor. If you have an issue in your relationship, you go to see a therapist. And so we have to sort of break this stigma against mental health. And so to me, I try to encourage people to say, well, if you want to improve your relationships, you want to overcome some problems, some anxiety, some depression, then we have to go to the people who specialize in that area.
You are the owner of I Am More LLC. So I want you to, in the words of Michael Scott, talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old and tell me, what do you guys do?
Sure. At I Am More LLC, I specialize in counseling and consulting for individuals, couples, groups, and families. And so if anyone is interested in seeing myself for mental health, general mental health checkups, if you want to talk about depression, anxiety, workplace drama, interpersonal relationships, any type of mental health related issues, what we deal with at I Am More.
I think a lot of people, when you talk about relationship issues, you automatically think significant other. But you just mentioned family issues. You mentioned workplace issues. In terms of the overall clientele that you see, I know I didn't ask you to bring stats in here, but I mean, how frequent is it that someone comes to you and says, I need to talk about a workplace issue?
It's actually more popular than you think, because if you think about it, the workplace is a place where people spend a lot of time, the most amount of time outside of their home. So when you are in a workplace, you're often engaging with people in close relationships. And so you could have a situation where you don't like your coworker, or your coworker doesn't like you. The same things that we talk about in terms of negotiation, mediation, and conflict resolution, those are applicable to the workplace just like they're applicable to families.
That's interesting. So if I want to get in touch with you, I've been watching you this morning, and you've obviously said a lot of things relevant to pretty much if you're a human being watching this morning, this information is relevant. It's Dr. Darren Moore, PhD, I Am More LLC. How do I get in touch with you? How do I find more about you? How do I get a hold of you?
Sure. You can actually look at my social media. I'm on Facebook, right? We talk about social media. I'm on Facebook. I also have a website, a new website that is launching, and also I'll have my contact information, including my phone number and my email, there for anyone that's interested.
All right, Dr. Darren Moore, it's a pleasure to have you this morning.
Thank you.
Valentine's right around the corner, and you just heard how you can get in touch with him. We'll have plenty more coming up after the break. Stay with us this morning in this first news show.
Well, Josh, looking at rainfall